of one of the other female characters who is kind of the rival of the character whose poem I just did. And her poem is called Malala Writes to Miley Cyrus. You guys know who Malala Yousafzai is?
No.
Some of you do, some of you don't. Malala Yousafzai, she is a blogger. She is a Pakistani activist. She's a young woman who had a blog that the Taliban found problematic. And they asked her to stop writing about girls needing to have access to education in Pakistan. And they told her to stop, and she didn't really want to stop. And so they threatened her. She didn't really want to stop because she really believed that girls should have access to education in Pakistan. And they came to assassinate her, and they shot her in the head. And she's still alive. She recovered. Like, they flew her to Britain. They extracted the bullet from her brain. They treated her, and she is still speaking out for women and girls in Pakistan to have an education. Yeah, so this poem is called Malala Writes to Miley Cyrus. When the Taliban gunman came and asked, "Which one of you is Malala? Speak up or I will shoot you all." Kanat and Shazia would have stepped into this bullet, would have said, "I am Malala," offered their hijabs for the blast, had I not be dance. The orbit of prayer, twirling meditation, how body becomes chant, becomes growl, becomes God. Have you ever tasted persimmon? A fruit so implausibly sweet you question your atheism. Who told you scooping the fruit of yourself out to ripen and rot under stage lights was defiance? Miley, have you ever smelled acid? Not a tab passed between tongues of girls who only kiss girls in public, but acid, violining flesh from the faces of women who dare reading books. Have you ever seen a fire you didn't start and couldn't put out? How it mocks, how it howls with the promise of nothing but ash, how the library is always the first room of the school to collapse. Twerk, Miley. With the abandon of a Sufi spinning his praises to paradise. But remember, each cheek pop was paid for in flesh. Remember, my sisters would have stepped into my bullet. Remember, the women the Taliban stoned, wrecking ball ballistics to punish adulterous wives. They came for me, Miley. And for once, it wasn't an honor killing of the body. They came to silence me. As though when my brain flickered off, my blog too would go dark. Miley, don't you know they'll come for you too? Not in turbans and tanks, not with grenades for your gymnasiums or bayonets for your pleated skirts. First, they'll come with cameras that flay you with flashes till you'd rather crash your Lamborghini in the tunnel than take another lash of its lights. They'll come with bottles, first champagne and then pills and more pills. And when you shave your head or challenge their taxes, when you wipe rouge from your mouth like an unwanted kiss, they'll strap you to yourself, Miley. If ever you are shackled, which limb will you hack first to set yourself free? Twerk, Miley. But know your right to gyrate didn't come free. Women hide burn scars under burqas while you unburden your young flesh of denim and the scourge of being remembered as demure. Twerk, Miley. They were able to stem the bleeding in my brain, turned down for nothing. When I emerged from the coma, the hospital lights spun into focus like the pinwheel prayers of Sufi skirts. Twerk, Miley. Don't let Sinead O'Connor shame you into silence or grace. When the Taliban asked me to name myself, I spat, "I am Malala," like acid back in his face.